Pokemon is probably the series I put the most time into growing up. I've played through these games countless times, and at this point I'd say I'm a bit of a Pokemon master. But with increased game knowledge comes one big drawback. The games become way too easy. Like, so easy that it can become kind of boring. But then I discovered the world of Nuzlocking. Everyone and their mother has already probably heard of Pokemon Nuzlockes at this point, but if you somehow don't know what a Nuzlocke is, first of all, welcome to the 21st century, and congrats on finding your way out from under that rock. And second of all, don't worry. All Nuzlockers are contractually obligated by law to recap what a Nuzlocke is at the beginning of their video anyway, so let's get into this. Pokemon Nuzlockes are a challenge run that consists of 3 basic rules. 1. You can only catch the first Pokemon you encounter in each new area, so if you accidentally kill that Bidoof you ran into on a new route, you can't catch anything here anymore for the rest of the game, ever. 2. If a Pokemon faints, it is dead, you cannot use it anymore. And 3. You must nickname each Pokemon to create a stronger bond with it. Cause if Weedle dies, no big deal, but if Tim the Weedle dies, now that's just painful. Nuzlockes are great. Playing the game this way adds a new layer of strategy that makes playthroughs much more interesting and exciting for veteran players like myself. But after years of successful Nuzlocke runs, I've come to see them as a bit too easy as well. So I decided to up the ante and attempt my first hardcore Nuzlocke. With Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl coming out soon, I couldn't think of a better game to play than the original Pokemon Diamond. In addition to the standard Nuzlocke rules, I added a few of my own. For starters, all enemy levels have been increased by 10%, so something that used to be level 50 is now going to be level 55 instead. I'm also going to be playing on set mode instead of shift. That means that the game won't do that thing where it goes, yo, they're about to send out this Pokemon next, you trying to switch into something that beats it real quick? No, instead of that, whenever I beat an enemy's Pokemon, their next one comes right onto the field, and if I want to switch, I'll just switch in on whatever attack they were going for. I also enforced a pretty strict level cap that I was never going to be stronger than the upcoming gym leader's strongest Pokemon. And finally, perhaps the most important rule of all, using items in battle is completely banned with the exception of Pokeballs and held items. This means I can't overcome obstacles by spamming potions. If something bad happens, nothing can bail me out except for my own decision making. On top of all of this, I decided to randomize the game to make things extra spicy and less predictable. And yes, that includes randomized TMs. I figured I'd explain that now so you're not confused when you see something like a Honchkrow with Seed Bomb later down the road. So I booted up the game and decided to name the rival after my friend Bash, but I called him Bashley just for a little extra disrespect, and then I began my adventure. Our story begins in Twinleaf Town, where my mom decided to rub it in my face that I don't have my own Pokemon yet, which is pretty messed up considering she knows it's my dream to become a Pokemon master. Feeling disrespected, I stormed out of my house in a fit of teenage angst, where I ran into Bashley. We decided to go to the lake where we saw some old guy leave behind a briefcase in the grass. It was then that we figured we should go ahead and break the golden rule of Pokemon and go into the tall grass without a Pokemon to check it out. That rule exists for a reason, I guess, because we proceeded to get mugged by a couple of Starly. Fortunately, the briefcase had some Pokemon in it. A Lapras, an Aggron, and Carnivine. I defended myself with Lapras and Bashley used Carnivine. Turns out, the old guy was the professor, and he decided to let us keep them. So I named Lapras Serenity and left to start my journey to the top. But first, I had to head home and make my mom eat her words. Once again, I stormed out of the room and left for good. I met up with Lucas, the professor's assistant, who decided to teach me how to catch Pokemon, demonstrating on one of the beginner Pokemon native to the Sand Gem Town area, Regice. If you didn't know, the Reggies only know one move at this level, and that move is Explosion. So this is what happened.
It's going good. Glad to hear that, man. Glad to hear it. Oh my god! He failed! He failed! He failed the catching tutorial! He failed! He's just gaining experience. Is he gonna level up? He's gonna level up! He leveled up!
Still, despite what happened, he was a pretty good sport about it, and decided to give me some Pokeballs to go try for myself. On Route 201, I caught my first new Pokemon, a Flaffy who I named Crypto, after my friend who loves the Ampharos line. Then I went back to the lake to see what I could find there, and oh boy did I find something. So, legendary Pokemon like Latios have a pretty insane catch rate, meaning they're really hard to catch. So with only a few Pokeballs in hand, this was basically impossible. I guess I should just give up now to save Pokeballs and move on to the next... Oh! So with my newly acquired Latios, who I named Archwing, I made my way towards Jubilife City. On the way there, I caught a Jinx and named her Chlamydia, which I realize isn't the most tasteful nickname, but you can't tell me it isn't at least slightly fitting. Now, the unfortunate thing about Latios is that, aside from Psywave, which is very unreliable because of its accuracy and its random damage output, it doesn't get a new attacking move until level 20. Luckily for us, our Jinx was carrying more than just Chlamydia on her. It also had a TM for Takedown, which I taught to Latios for a more consistent damage option. At the Jubilife Trainer School, some kids gave me the TM for Heal Bell, which is so good for a run like this. If you didn't know, Heal Bell will cure the entire team of their status ailments such as Poison or Burn, which is really awesome since I don't have a way to get rid of it with items. Since there's only one of each TM in this game, I had to be careful with who I decided to teach this to. Crypto seemed like a solid bet, so hopefully nothing happens to him anytime soon. On the way out of town, I ran into Bashley, who decided to challenge me to a battle. His Chikorita definitely wasn't prepared to fight a Latios, but that's when he decided to send out Carnivine. Carnivine had Bite, which meant it was a threat to Lapras, Latios, and Jinx all at the same time, leaving my only safe option as Crypto. After an instant static paralysis, we got straight to work on growling to lower the Carnivine's attack. Crypto started getting pretty low on HP, which meant it was almost time for him to switch out, but that's when Carnivine revealed Bind. Flaffy was now trapped on the field, losing health every single turn. With no way to heal or switch out, our only option was to kill this thing before it kills us, but Flaffy's tackle wasn't doing any damage.
Wait, am I tripping? Like, Bind doesn't let you switch, right? Yeah, okay, you can't. Crit! Nope. Oh my god, okay, well, that's the first death. That is the first death.
He put up a brave fight, but unfortunately, Crypto fell, marking the first death of the Nuzlocke. Crypto had done enough damage for Latios to come in and easily finish up the job, but this was a devastating loss. I had this immeasurable sense of guilt. Could I really keep going knowing that my friends' lives could fade away in an instant and it would all be my fault? But this is the heart of a Nuzlocke. All I could do was learn from my mistakes and do better by my team next time. Rest in peace, Crypto. I made my way towards Heartbreak City and caught an Onyx on the way who I named Schnitzel. I went to go look for the first gym leader work in the Heartbreak mine, where I found and caught Celebi, who I named Marty McFly. Having 2 legends before the first gym was pretty incredible luck, and Celebi's moveset is so good for a challenge run like this because it has Leech Seed and Recover, which both heal HP, as well as Heal Bell to replace the TM that we lost on Crypto. So after doing some training, I felt ready to battle Rourke. His Vulpix was no match for the likes of Lapras, and while Dugong was pretty scary for my team, it also couldn't do a lot to Lapras. Since Serenity was on a roll, I decided to let it take out his Mischievous too, which meant that we had earned our first gym badge. It was around now that the actual Crypto joined my chat, and I had to explain to him exactly what happened. To pay respects to our fallen soldier, I told him he could name my next encounter. It was a Rampardos that he wanted me to name Lebrontosaurus Rex, which unfortunately would not fit, so we called him Lebronto. Back in Jubilife, I found the professor being harassed by these weird culty looking guys who called themselves Team Galactic. I found it pretty unfair that one of them was given a Weedle to fight with while the other had Giratina, so I decided to take up the issue of this inequity with Commander Mars at the Valley Windworks. Unfortunately, all she wanted to do was fight, but she was no match for Celebi, who managed to beat her Meganium, and Lapras, who took her Drifblim down with ease. With Mars defeated, I was free to advance north until I reached Eterna Forest, home of the best song in the game. Here I met Cheryl and agreed to guide her to the exit of the forest. This was a pretty dangerous decision because traveling with Cheryl turns everything into a double battle, which is especially scary since both opponents can potentially gang up on your Pokemon in one turn. But if we're lucky, Cheryl's Pokemon will be randomized into something powerful. Oh man. Thankfully, this was around when Latios reached level 20 and learned Dragon Breath, finally earning a powerful stab move to use in battle. Latios has now ascended to be the carry that he was always meant to be, and he helped grant us safe passage all the way through the forest until we reach Eterna City. Here I met the best champion in Pokemon history, Cynthia, who decided to give us the HM for Cut, which I could use to get rid of these small trees blocking our way. But in order to do that, I'd first need to earn my second gym badge. It just so happens that the second gym is here, but before I challenged it, I wanted to explore the area a bit. Now, at this point, I was feeling pretty unstoppable. I had assembled a team of powerhouses, and there wasn't much that could challenge the team I had assembled. Only a god could stop me now. That's when I was faced with Arceus, god of the Pokemon universe. Not only was this thing pretty threatening, but it was also a few levels higher than everything else in the vicinity. I don't know why it was so overleveled, but I kept calm. A normal type Pokemon like Arceus shouldn't be able to do much to a rock type like Schnitzel, so things were looking good until I decided to go run my mouth.
What does this thing actually have for me? I'm waiting for it to pull out, like, Earth Power or something. And then I'm gonna be very sad. Let's go for a Rock Smash. Yo, I should change the title of the stream to just be like, I got early access to Legends Arceus. It does have Earth Power! I was joking! I was joking! It was a joke!
Schnitzel had fallen. As my friend Sumami so eloquently put it in the chat, Rada in peace, brother. Schnitzel's death brought my ego back down a peg. I realized that even if I have a strong team, I had to remember that this world is a dangerous one. Just because I have legendaries doesn't mean that my opponents won't, so I had to be extra careful moving forward. If I wanted to challenge the Eterna Gym, I had some serious preparations to make. Just to the east of Eterna City is Mount Coronet. Now, I had a decision to make. Mount Coronet is a location that we revisit a few times in Sinnoh, so did I want to get my encounter now while it was still low leveled, or come back when they're even stronger? I decided to just go for it now and hope it gives me something strong, and boy, Mount Coronet did not disappoint. I encountered Lugia. Like I said, legendaries are basically impossible to catch, so getting this Lugia would be basically impossible, but no, there's no fake out this time, it just used Whirlwind and we got nothing. So I dejectedly made my way back to town where I met an explorer who taught me how to go underground. If I could find a fossil down there, I could revive it and get a free Pokemon. So I spent 30 minutes looking before I discovered a skull fossil. After reviving it, I got Mankey, which I named Muscle Man and added to the team. I also decided to add Lebronto to the team to fill the void of our missing rock type, and after some serious training, I finally felt ready to challenge Gardenia, the second gym leader. I figured it'd be best to lead with my strongest Pokemon, Latios. Since he's more of an offensive-based juggernaut, I didn't want to have to risk switching him in later on a hit that he didn't want to take. He was able to take down Gardenia's Hypno with no problem, but that's when we met Latios' twin sister, Latias. I couldn't risk staying in here, so I switched to Celebi, whose Heal Bell would be able to shake off Dragon Breath Paralysis and recover off the damage with no problem. The downside was that Confusion was doing barely any damage, and eventually I realized that Latias had Wish, which would recover its health, so this would take a while. Rather than spending 2 hours here, I brought out Lapras, who immediately got paralyzed, but was able to take it down with his Ice-type moves. Gardenia still had her ace up her sleeve though, Porygon 2. This felt like the right time to debut one of our newest additions, Lebronto. Armed with his Quick Claw, Lebronto activated it right away and got a crit headbutt on his first turn out. Immediately after that, Lebronto got another Quick Claw activation and a flinch. After Gardenia healed up, Lebronto's Quick Claw activated for a third time. But then I unfortunately got crit by Porygon 2's Psybeam. If Quick Claw didn't activate for a fourth time here, Lebronto would probably die, so I decided to switch back into Latios to finish the job. For this hard-fought battle, we were rewarded for our efforts with a TM for Tackle. Thank you, Gardenia. Now that we could use Cut, I checked out the suspicious building that turned out to be a front for Team Galactic. At the top I found another one of their commanders, Jupiter. She was holding the local bike shop owner hostage, so I had to stomp her out with a combination of Latios and Lapras. The bike owner graciously thanked me and gave me a free bike which I used to ride down Cycling Road. Now, I kind of forgot Route 206 was a new area and ran away from my encounter, which was a Lickitung. Then I came back thinking it was a new area, completely forgetting about the whole Lickitung thing, and then I ran into a Venusaur, which I accidentally ran away from again. So in the end, my own stupidity saved me from cheating like I almost did. On my way through Mount Coronet, I met this weird blue-haired guy. Ooh, I wonder if he'll be important later. So we reached Hearthome City, evolving Muscle Man into Primate on the way. I decided to go check out the contest hall, where I ran into someone I hoped I'd never see on my journey. My mom. This was the first time I'd seen her since storming out the house all that time ago, and she tried to force her lifestyle of contests on me, but I had bigger dreams. All I care about is getting stronger and beating gym leaders to become a Pokemon master. And since the gym leader wasn't here, I stormed out of the room once again, leaving my mom in the dust. That's when I ran into Bashley, who wanted to fight me yet again. There's not much to say about this fight. All you really need to know is that I made sure to beat that Carnivine who killed Cryptodon with the full force of Latios' fury. On the next route, I caught a Miltank before finding another Skull Fossil. Since it revived into another Mankey, my chat told me I should use it as a token to get a second encounter on Route 209. So that's how I got Shaman, and at this point my encounter luck is so good that I could literally replace one Grass Mythical Pokemon with another if I needed to, but for now I put Shaman in the PC and kept moving forward. As I advanced, I found a Porygon 2 in the Lost Tower, a Phanpy in Salacion Ruins, and a Claw Fossil, which ended up being a Hippowdon, which gave me some pretty solid options to add to the team in case anything bad happened. On Route 215, I went to get my encounter and found Mareep. That's right, it was the return of our fallen soldier Crypto. There was only one name that seemed appropriate for the reincarnation of such a legend, Crypt2, which I spelled wrong and had to go fix later. As I continued along the route, I found a pair of trainers waiting to ambush me with a double battle. Since double battles are especially dangerous, I had the idea of avoiding this by talking to them individually and doing 2 single battles instead of 1 double battle. And thank God I did, because while the first trainer was a total pushover, the second one had Arceus. Thankfully, a well-placed crit from Archwing took this Schnitzel killer down. And so I managed to reach Veilstone City, home of the 3rd gym, and also home of the Game Corner, which I really wanted to go check out. But they wouldn't let me in without a coin case. Luckily for me, I found a clown who was giving away a coin case. All I had to do was guess which hand he was holding it in. Pretty easy, right?
Right. Okay. Right. Right! Is it just always gonna be set to left? I'm losing my mind. I'm losing my mind. So I just lost the coin flip like 5 times in a row. Right. Oh my god! This is astronomical! Left? Come on! Right! What the hell? Thank you! Come on! Like, what was that? Jeez. What was the point of that?
After exploring the city a bit more, I had a big decision to make. While I wasn't very fond of chlamydia when I first got it, I started to embrace it over time. Chlamydia really became a big part of who I am as a person, but as the journey got more and more difficult, I couldn't help but see chlamydia as the hindrance it really was. So I was left with no other options. I cured my chlamydia. In other words, I took Jinx off the team. And who better to replace her with than Crypt2, who I trained all the way up to a powerful Ampharos. With our team stronger than ever, I felt ready to challenge Maylene for my 3rd gym badge. Latios shredded through her first 2 Pokemon, and Lapras decimated her ace Torkoal. Just like that, we had our 3rd badge. But while we were earning it, Lucas was getting his Pokédex stolen by Team Galactic. So after teaching those dweebs a lesson, I got on the road towards Pastoria City. On the way there, I met this guy in a cave called the Ruin Maniac, who challenged me to catch the Unknown. So I left the cave and immediately encountered an Unknown. Mission accomplished. As I passed through the Valor Lakefront, I caught myself a Honchkrow who I named Forelli, cause that kinda sounds like a mob boss name, right? Forelli. Forget about it. I came across the road to Sunyshore City where I ran into this guy, and I got some things to say about him.
Stop. Yes, you. Sunyshore City, which is down this road, had a major blackout. Crews are working on restoring power, but the road's closed right now. Right? That's what he says. Roads are closed because they had a major blackout, right? Sunyshore City is built entirely out of solar panels.
After arriving in Pastoria City, I saw another gym waiting to be challenged, but first I decided to check the surrounding area for new encounters. In the Great Marsh, I caught a Gallade, which I named Lil Wayne. Then I checked the swamp to the west and I found a Vulpix, a fox made out of fire. There was only one name I could think of for a fire fox. Explorer. Then I went to the Trophy Garden and caught myself an Empoleon. Now I don't know if anyone else remembers this or if it's just me, but there used to be this legendary penguin on Club Penguin that would show up every now and then. His name was Rockhopper, so that's what I called Empoleon. With those encounters out of the way, I was feeling pretty confident that we could take on the next gym, but one of the trainers brought out a Golem while the Bronto was on the field, which put me in a pretty tough situation. See, Golems around this level should know self-destruct, which could kill anyone besides Lebronto, but I also couldn't risk leaving Lebronto in on a ground move because that would kill him. At this point, Muscleman had been falling behind on levels, and if I was being totally honest, he was the clear-cut weak link of the team. But since fighting is strong against Golem, I figured maybe bringing him in was the play, and if things actually came to a self-destruct, this was the one I was most comfortable losing anyway, and tragically enough, the Golem did in fact use self-destruct.
Here it goes. Muscleman, we salute you! We salute you, fallen soldier. I definitely think that, like, something like Lapras could have lived, but I didn't want to risk it, and if they got a critical hit, then Lapras would be dead.
Muscleman sacrificed himself so that we could go on, so we salute our fallen soldier and moved onward. Now we had to win this gym badge to avenge Muscleman. This time I decided to lead with Lapras as Crasher Wake sent out his Walrein. I didn't have good switch-ins for Walrein, so I decided that I'd leave Lapras in since it quad resists ice and has water absorb. Eventually Lapras managed to win the battle of the water and ice types. Then Crasher Wake brought out Whale Lord. Once again I relied on Lapras' water absorb ability and was slowly able to take it down. Things were pretty easy up to this point, but I couldn't let my guard down now. Who knows what kind of threat he could have in the Caterpie. It's Caterpie. So we got our 4th gym badge and we were halfway to our goal. As I was leaving the town, I ran into Bashley and had this cathartic experience as Crypt 2 took down the Carnivine that killed Crypto. I also ran into Cynthia, who asked me to deliver something to her grandma in Celestic Town. But first, we needed to add a new member to the team now that Primate was gone. I decided on Forelli the Honchcrow since he gave us 2 new typings and made use of our newly acquired Fly HM. With that settled, I set out on the path to Celestic Town. Now this route can be very annoying. It's covered in a thick fog. Fog is a weather condition that's exclusive to this generation. All it does is reduce everyone's accuracy during battles. I don't usually use the defog HM since it's not required, but this time I couldn't risk losing someone because of Fog's accuracy games, so I taught Honchcrow defog. The move to leader would be coming up soon anyway, so it wasn't too big of a deal, and with the fog gone, the route to Celestic was actually pretty easy. Our team is well balanced and proved themselves to be more than capable of overcoming whatever obstacles were thrown our way. I got rid of some more Team Galactic goons at the Celestic Ruins where I met Cynthia's grandma. After giving her the old charm, she gave me the HM for Surf, which I promptly taught to Lapras. On my way out of town, I ran into the blue-haired guy again. He introduced himself as Cyrus and left. Weird. But this felt like a good time to check back in on the Heart Home gym leader, to see if she was back. And she was! Now, Fantina's a Ghost-type trainer. And while this means nothing in a randomizer, it did mean that we were about to face the scariest gym puzzle of all. Math. Ooh, spooky. Okay, seriously, this is such a weird idea for a gym puzzle, and I'm so glad they redesigned her gym in Platinum. But anyway, the math puzzle actually ended up being scarier than Fantina herself. While she had a Sharpedo that was a little scary, an Ampharos Static Paralysis into Discharge took care of it. Other than that, all she had was a Meowth and a C-Dot. So, with the 5th badge acquired, I made my way towards Candelave City. The road there was pretty uneventful, but I ran into Lucas's dad who wanted to upgrade my Pokedex. He said he didn't know where I was, so he would just wait in that tunnel hoping that I'd pass through eventually, and that's pretty weird when you take the time to think about it. But anyway, we ran into Bashley again, and by now you should know exactly how that goes. Gladios puts in work, we body a Carnivine, the usual. There was this scary run-in with another Golem, Fearing the self-destruct, I went into Lapras this time since it's probably the bulkiest member of my team. Luckily there was no self-destruct this time and we took it out no problem. The 10% boost to enemy levels was really starting to show itself now, and I was starting to fall behind, so I decided to train a bit at Iron Island before facing the next gym. Here I met Riley, who wanted to travel through the cave together. I was hoping that unlike Cheryl, he would have a strong Pokemon on his team. He didn't. But I decided to once again use my strategy of challenging everyone to single battles instead of double battles. This technique worked on everyone except for some Galactic grunts at the end of the cave, but they didn't have anything too scary outside of a Celebi of their own. After making it through Iron Island, Riley gave us an egg that hatched into a Whalmer. I named him Billy and kept pushing. After some additional training, I felt ready to take on the Canalave gym. The leader, Byron, led with a Primeape. I felt a stinging reminder of my past mistakes, but to really hammer this point home, Byron followed up with a Geodude, a direct descendant of the golem that killed Muscle Man. Much like when I fought Bashley's golem earlier, I decided that the best way to play around self-destruct or explosion was to go into our bulkiest mon, Lapras. Then I realized just how stupid of a plan this actually was. See, Rock is strong against ice types, and that was immediately made clear as it whipped out Stone Edge.
An overleveled explosion can be scary. Stone Edge! Oh, this is terrifying. Live! Live, please! Oh, that hurts! My heart! That was our starter! You got the critical hit. I think I lived that without a critical hit. And I definitely was faster and would have one-shot it. Oh, that sucks.
Lapras was dead. Our starter, who we've been through so much with, was no more. And if I told you that this didn't have me in shambles, I'd be lying. I was heartbroken. Celebi came in and finished off the Geodude, with Ferelli taking down Byron's Blossom. The badge was ours, but the damage was done. We needed a new water type to use Surf, so I grabbed Empoleon from the box and gave it the EXP share. Then I met up with the Professor, Lucas, and Bashley at the library. While there, we heard Team Galactic set off bombs, literal bombs, at the regional lakes.
They were made in a factory. A bomb factory. They're bombs.
We figured they were probably targeting Uxie, Mesprit, and Azelf, the Lake Guardians, so we split up to separately investigate the lakes. Lucas went to Verity, Bashley went to Acuity, and I made my way towards Lake Valor, where the 3rd Team Galactic commander, Saturn, challenged me. Honestly, he got bodied pretty badly and it wasn't even close, so I decided to go check on Lucas at Lake Valor. Here I got into a mandatory double battle which made me really nervous, but everything went fine. Then I made a terrible mistake.
And then his last Pokemon, Spoink! Fun fact, Spoink, if it ever stops jumping, it dies. That just feels like such a cursed existence. What am I doing?! Woo! Forgot about that one. I definitely forgot Discharge hits your teammate. Oh my god, I would have been so upset.
I got so lucky. My overconfidence almost cost Honchkrow its life. Honchkrow's injuries were pretty serious, but the closest place to heal was the one place I swore I'd never go back to.
Ahem. Mom! Mom! I almost killed Honchkrow!
She healed the team back up to full strength, and we finally saw eye to eye. Forgiving my mom for her insensitivity at the start of this, I returned to the lake. By the time I got there, Lucas had already lost to Mars, so I had to rematch her to show Lucas how it's done. Mars had a Suicune, but between Latios and Celebi, it was a pretty easy fight overall. 2 of the lakes were now safe, but I had to get to Lake Acuity to check on Bashley. To get there, I had to cross through a harsh blizzard on a snow-covered trail. Our team wasn't up to full strength after the loss of Lapras, and we were falling behind on levels again. I was growing concerned for the team's safety, but there was no time to waste. I had to push forward. On the way there, I encountered a trainer with a Magmar that proved to be really annoying. While Lebronto had a favorable matchup here, he got hit by Magmar's Confuse Ray before getting trapped by his Fire Spin. This was followed up by a Fire Punch that burned Lebronto as he hit himself in confusion. Between hail damage, burn damage, Fire Spin damage, and confusion damage, Lebronto was in serious trouble here. And since Fire Spin prevented him from switching out, I only saw one way out of the situation.
So here's what's going to need to happen, chat. I am going to need a Quick Claw to activate. And upon activating, I'm going to need to break through confusion and land this headbutt. And even then, I still have to take burn damage and hail damage, which I think I can live. The only alternative is that Magmar has to go for Fire Spin and miss, or go for Confuse Ray and it says that I'm confused. Otherwise, Lebronto's dead. So it's not very likely. We're dead. Lebronto is dead. Can you go out fighting? Rest easy, big guy. And what's crazy is that we would actually live if they didn't have a third Pokemon, but because they do, now we have to take hail damage and burn damage. And burn in this game is 12%, so we can live the hail, but we cannot live the burn. Oh, it's so sad. I like Lebronto. I like Lebronto a lot.
With Rockhopper still in training, we only had 4 properly leveled team members. Things were looking grim, but we somehow managed to push a little further until we reached Snow Point City. This gave me a chance to regroup and rebuild the team. Rockhopper was caught up with the rest of the squad, and I also added Ninetales to the team and trained everyone up a few more levels to be on par with the 7th gym, our next challenge. The leader Candace led with a Cheerum, which as you know is nothing to a Latios. But when she brought out Sableye, I had to retreat to Empoleon. However, then she also retreated, swapping her Sableye out for a freaking Zapdos. So then I had to bring Latios back in, which was able to take it down with a couple Aurora Beams. When Sableye returned, so did Empoleon, so they finished off their initial battle. Her ace was just a Kricketune. It went for a Perish Song, so I just switched out and let it kill itself. With a resounding whoop, I had my 7th badge, so I went to Lake Acuity and made sure Bashley was okay. By the time I got to the lake, Bashley had already lost to Jupiter. She warned me not to investigate their headquarters in Veilstone, so that's exactly what I did. There I found that they had captured the Lake Guardians, so I confronted Cyrus, the leader of Team Galactic. He swore he was going to create a new world which he could rule, and I knew I had to stop him. His Raichu went down with no problem, but when he brought out Piloswine, I realized that half of my team was weak to ice, and the other half was weak to ground, so this was a pretty serious problem. I tried to fight it with Celebi, but I took a lot of damage in the process and got to a point where an Ice Shard would kill me. So I switched into Ninetales while he healed and managed to take it down with a Flamethrower. Then his ace Snorlax arrived, which made me realize I was once again behind in levels. Still, Empoleon was able to take it out with some Rock Smash crits and defense drops. Conceding defeat, Cyrus gave me a Master Ball and left for Mount Coronet to bring his evil schemes to life. I wasn't done here though. I had to free the Lake Guardians, but to do that I'd have to beat Saturn once again. Saturn's team was kind of a joke. Slugma and Spinarak went down right away, but he did have a Blissey. While we wait for his HP to go down, this feels like a good time to go ahead and remind you to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It's okay, we got time. I'll wait. Okay, so Saturn was defeated, and he admitted that even he doesn't know what Cyrus is planning to do, and that's my problem with Cyrus. Everyone loves him because he has a pretty cool design, but I think he's one of the worst villains in Pokemon because his plan is so underdeveloped that even his commanders don't know what it is. He has all of these people brainwashed into working for him, and they don't even know what he's doing. Like, okay, he hates the world and wants to make a new one, sure, I get it, but why does he hate this world? And what would he do differently in the new one? Neither of these questions get answers. God, I hope this gets explained in the remakes. But anyway, we quickly scaled Mount Coronet to reach Spear Pillar at the summit. Here, Cyrus summoned the legendary Pokemon Dialga, which set off the best graphics I've ever seen in a video game. It was pretty terrifying when I realized that I'd not only had to fight Dialga, but also managed to stop his army of gummy worms he just scattered across the region. Before I could do that, Mars and Jupiter got in my way. That's when Bashley showed up to help. Also, at this point, the real-life Bash and the real-life Crypto had joined me on call, which was pretty cool. Now, I'm going to take a break from all of this to say that there is one more rule that I didn't mention at the beginning of all of this. Starting at level 50, all enemy Pokemon will be randomized into a fully evolved form. So no more Caterpies and Weedles. From here on out, it was going to get serious. And I was really starting to fall behind on levels. But Bash and Crypto convinced me to just fight them and see what happens. So I jumped into the fight with Mars and Jupiter. Somehow, Azelf got himself recaptured after I just freed him, but Latios managed to take it down. Then Latios had to face himself. I was really scared at first, but then I realized that there shouldn't still no Dragon Breath, so I stayed in and got it down to low health. Bashley's Farfetch stepped in to finish the job with Night Slash, and then immediately died to Future Sight. That's when Carnivine hit the field. We decided to set aside our differences for the greater good. At least I wish that's what I could say. I actually tried to kill it, but then he ended the battle before I could finish the job. Carnivine! So Bashley looked at the world-ending stakes in front of us, looked at me, and sort of just said, "Good luck," and ran away.
Where are you going? Bro, you suck!
Just dipping.
He just left! Do you not see what's happening in front of us? How could you just leave me alone here? Where's your loyalty?
I gotta finish the gym leader challenge, duh.
True.
I wanted to be mad about this, but he was probably still upset about the whole me trying to kill Carnivine just now thing. And, you know, that's fair. I'll give him that. With Dialga's powers growing stronger, the Lake Guardians showed up to stop him. Cyrus swore to recapture them after he defeated me here. So I got into one final battle with the boss of Team Galactic. And good lord, what are those levels? Okay, so he countered my Latios lead with Bannet. So I brought out Honchkrow, which prompted him to switch into Magnezone. I figured Ampharos was a solid pick here since he could resist its hits and retaliate with fire punches, but Magnezone's screeches had me nervous for what was coming up next, so I switched into Ninetales to finish it off. Then Cyrus brought in a level 53 Blastoise, which set up a Rain Dance. The only thing that could take a hit from this was Marty McFly, but even he wouldn't appreciate crits from this thing. But eventually I was able to outlast the rain turns with Recover and bring it down. After that, the battle was as good as won. Empoleon finished off Bannet, Ampharos bodied a Quillfish, Cyrus was defeated. But I still had to take on Dialga, who was randomized to another legendary. It ended up being Articuno. I used my Master Ball and my chat convinced me to name it Sonic in all caps. I don't know why, maybe it's because they're both blue, but we got Sonic! Anyway, the world was saved, and I heard that the blackout in Sunyshore was over, so I made my way there. On the way, I found another Master Ball to replace the one I just used. And, that's pretty cool, but there's really only 2 encounters left in the game, so I probably won't even need it, right? Anyway, in Sunyshore, we found Volkner, the final gym leader. And even though I was still not caught up in levels, I felt proud of the team I've assembled, and challenged him anyway. Latios was able to take out his Altaria after a quick scare where it lived in Aurora Beam and set up a Dragon Dance. Then he brought out another Blissey. So 30 minutes later, after it was defeated, he brought out Charizard. Ninetales' Flash Fire ability let me switch in safely and take it out. Volkner's ace was Wigglytuff, which couldn't touch Rockhopper at all, and so we managed to gain all 8 gym badges in the region. All that was left for me to do was to make my way to the Pokemon League and challenge the Elite Four. I taught Rockhopper Waterfall, completing his moveset of 4 HMs, thanks for that Sinnoh, and made my way to Victory Road, the last hurdle for trainers wishing to challenge the Elite Four. I went to get my final encounter of the run, and of course, with my legendary luck, I was blessed with yet another legendary encounter, Entei. And remember that Master Ball I didn't think would be very useful? It's time. I caught him and called him Red Yeti. Now, with Victory Road and the Elite Four ahead of me, I was about to face my greatest challenge yet. I needed to upgrade the team where I could if I wanted to come out on top, so I added Articuno and Entei to the team over Honchkrow and Ninetales. Latios, Celebi, Ampharos, Empoleon, Articuno, and Entei. With a team like this, I felt ready to take on whatever Victory Road had to throw at me, so I fearlessly charged in. As expected, my team overcame most of the hurdles thrown my way, but then I came across this optional double battle. I verbally said out loud that I probably shouldn't do this battle.
I don't trust this double battle at all. I don't trust that double battle even slightly. I'm halfway tempted to just not fight them. Because, like, there's no way that this ends well. And what am I doing this for, right?
But I did it anyway, and I really can't even explain what happened here. I just need you to take a look at it.
So, I'm just gonna, like, test the waters a bit. Let me just go for our Dragon Breath. I don't want to do anything that's, like, too damaging. Okay? Let's just test it out. What am I doing? I'm so stupid. That's a bug type. Please! Please! No! Oh my god. Please don't do it, Bastiodon. Do not do it. Don't do this to me. Do not do this to me. Not now. Can we get a Dragon Breath Paralysis? Into full para? Please? Bless! Woo! Yo, where's my crown? Where's my crown? King won his crown. Look at that! It's one! Literally one! Oh my god, dude. Dude, I cannot do this. This is too much.
We got so lucky here, but this was a very necessary reminder that I can't get complacent at this step. I could still lose this run, and everything I've worked so hard for could be gone in an instant. Keeping that grim reminder in mind, I carefully navigated my way through Victory Road into the Pokemon League, where Bashley wanted one final battle. But at this point, Bashley doesn't hold a candle to the team I've assembled here. Not even that demon, Carnivine, can scare me anymore. We're too powerful for the likes of him. So one last time, we defeated our rival. Then after a lot of training, wink wink, and some moveset revisions, it was time to face our last challenge, the Elite Four. The first member was Aaron. We got off to a good start with a lead of Entei versus Beautifly. Unsurprisingly, it went down pretty easily, and then he sent out Kingdra. I had to switch out into Articuno, but as I did, he started setting up Dragon Dances, which got really scary really fast. Still, if I go for Toxic, it should be manageable. But I missed Toxic, and then missed it again, all while he continued to set up even more. I realized that Empoleon could wall this thing, but I needed it on a timer first. So I finally landed Toxic and brought out Rockhopper. But after a combination of Blizzard and Poison damage to get it low, Aaron used a full restore and removed his poison. Things were getting bad. Luckily, it was only using Dragon Pulse, which isn't boosted by Dragon Dance. But since I didn't know what other moves he had yet, I couldn't risk switching out into something else. Empoleon was all I had. But then Empoleon proceeded to miss 3 Blizzards and a Hydro Pump in a row, and that was the final straw. I had to switch out Empoleon and put him on the bench, because that was unacceptable at a time like this. I went into Celebi and saw his last moves were Hydro Pump and Prime, so there were no physical moves I had to worry about at all. Celebi took it down, and the rest of the battle went much smoother. Articuno took out Nidoqueen, Celebi took out Sudowoodo, and the combination of Empoleon and Entei managed to beat Excloud. That was a scary start, but we came out on top. Next up was Bertha. She led with Gyarados against my Ampharos, which was an awesome start from me. From there, Celebi took down Hitmonlee, and Latios beat her Swalot. Her Altaria went for Perish Song, but with some careful plays I was able to beat it with my Articuno. And her last Pokemon, Rapidash, fell down to Rockhopper. That's 2 down and 2 to go. Next we had Flint, which gave us another nice lead matchup with Ampharos versus Pidgeot, which went about how you'd expect. But when he brought out Mamoswine, things got scary fast. Remember how I was scared of Cyrus's Piloswine? Well, this was like that, but way worse. But luckily I have Articuno now, which should be just fine against it.
Alright, so let's just scout damage and see if he's actually thick fat by going for an Ice Beam. So he goes for another double hit. We're gonna roost after this. He is faster, let's keep that in mind. If he does have Ancient Power, then Articuno just dies. That was a crit! Thick fat? If he's thick fat, then he can kind of just tank this Ice Beam. Okay, that doesn't look like thick fat. Let's roost and hope that he doesn't Ancient Power. Blizzard! Ooh, that could kill. Please don't. Dude, my luck has been abysmal in here. This is just rough.
The combination of a crit double hit immediately followed by a crit blizzard killed Sonic. Aw man, he had another movie on the way. If just one of those hits didn't get a critical hit, we would have been perfectly fine. But hey, that's the name of the game. I couldn't lose my cool now. Red Yeti came in to avenge his fallen comrade, and the rest of the battle was a cakewalk. Ampharos beat Love Disc, Empoleon beat Tyranitar, and Entei wiped the floor with Flint's Sceptile. With that, all that was left of the Elite Four was Lucian. He led with Drapion, so I brought out Empoleon. And as I did, he set up some Toxic Spikes, which is really scary since I can't use items to heal the poison, but Empoleon took it down as well as the Rhyperior that followed it. Against his Staraptor, I decided to switch out in case he went for close combat and brought in Latios, who managed to drop it with a single Psychic. Then Lucian brought out Snorlax, which I called on Rockhopper to deal with. The plan was to wear it down a bit and then switch into something else to finish it off, but I was immediately met with a block which trapped me on the field, preventing any switching out. This was really scary, but the right plays could still get me through. His Giga Impact did a surprising amount of damage but left him vulnerable the following turn. I didn't want to risk him using a full restore if Snorlax got too low on health, so I came up with a strategy. If I went for an Aqua Jet, Snorlax wouldn't be in range to heal yet, and he would hit me one more time, dropping me into Torrent range. If you didn't know, Empoleon's ability Torrent boosts its Water-type move strength by an additional 50% if it has 1/3 or less of its starting health. So my Aqua Jet should leave him in range of a Torrent boosted Surf, but his next hit left me just 3 HP away from Torrent range. To make matters worse, his Crunch dropped my defense, meaning that the next Giga Impact would kill me. I had no option but to hope that the next Surf killed. It did, and we made it past a huge threat, but we were immediately met with another one as Lucian sent out Archwing's twin, Latios. Our best response to Latios would be Rockhopper, but he was almost dead now and had to leave, so I went into Celebi, who was able to stay alive with its heal bell and recover while wearing it down safely. Once I confirmed it was safe to bring him out, Archwing hit the field to take his sister down once and for all. With a Dragon Breath, she fell, and Lucian was defeated. We did it. We beat the Elite Four. But to become the champion and win this hardcore Nuzlocke, I had to take down the current champion, Cynthia. This was it. One final battle with everything on the line. Cynthia led with her Electivire, so I brought out Celebi, but after his defense was lowered from Screech, I had to double into Latios to finish it off. That's when Cynthia brought out her Honchkrow. Latios had to switch here, but if Honchkrow knew Pursuit, Latios could die here. Still, I couldn't risk staying in, so I decided to switch into Empoleon and hope for the best. Thankfully, it didn't have Pursuit. Empoleon was able to beat Honchkrow without a problem, and then came in Arbok. Since Poison can't touch Steel at all, I figured Rockhopper would be the best thing to fight this with, but then it revealed Mud Bomb and my heart dropped. Luckily it missed, so I quickly switched out into Latios to deal with it. Up next was her ace, a level 73 Quagsire. Celebi resists ground and water, plus its Magical Leaf is 4 times effective against Quagsire, so I brought out Marty McFly and took it down in one shot. Cynthia followed up with Kabutops, which is also quad weak to Magical Leaf. So once again, we beat it in one hit. This was it. Cynthia was down to her last Pokemon, and it was the most fitting Pokemon I could ask for.
Smeargle! Guys, if you don't know, Smeargle only knows one move. And I'm gonna show you what it is. Take it away, Smeargle. Show them your move. Show them your move. Yes, sir!
Celebi had this match in the bag, but something didn't feel right.
Marty McFly has been such a good member of this team, but there's one person that deserves to be on the field more than anyone. If we're not ending it with the Latios that we caught in the very beginning with one Pokeball and trained to level 69, then I don't know what we're doing, chat. I don't know what we're doing. So altogether, let's end this with a nice powerful level 69 Psychic. Victory!
And just like that, victory was achieved. I entered my team into the Sinnoh Hall of Fame and was crowned the new champion of the Sinnoh region. The hardcore Nuzlocke was over. I felt relieved, but this was also a bittersweet moment for me. While I celebrated with the Pokemon who made it to the end with me, I couldn't help but shed a tear for each fallen friend I lost along the way. I realized in this moment the twisted appeal of the Nuzlocke challenge. I don't ever want to lose my friends in battle. These 6 losses hurt me to my core, but a sick part of me felt like 6 somehow wasn't enough to call this a true challenge. I know it's wrong, but I couldn't help but think this way. If the hardest rule set I could impose on myself wasn't enough to slow me down, what would be? Am I cursed to repeat this cycle of embarking on new journeys and making friends, only to see them perish in battle, constantly pushing the goal a little further to make the impending death and failure even more likely? This existential nightmare which we lovingly call Nuzlocke, is it really what I should be doing? I don't know. But what I do know is that while this marks the end of my first hardcore Nuzlocke, it definitely won't be the last. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. If you want to see playthroughs like this as they happen live, you should definitely go follow me over on Twitch. I always have a new playthrough in mind and I'd love to be able to share the experience with you all. I'm actually going to be launching my Brilliant Diamond playthrough tomorrow when it releases, so be sure to tune in if you don't want to miss it. It's going to be a good time for sure. Also, if you're new here and you enjoyed what you just watched, consider liking the video, subscribing, and maybe even leaving a friendly comment. The channel's still small, but I have big plans for it moving forward, so any and all support is always appreciated. Anyway, with that, it has been me, SketchAV, gonna get up out. Peace!